Too much facility can be a curse, said Alexander Calder. Lack of facility is not a disqualifier. Each has to figure it out. Always play to strength. Inner truth is essential. And this begs another question. Why do painters paint paintings no one will buy? Poor Van Gogh. He sold one painting in his lifetime. And as to being a nut, no doubt when you lop off an ear, you need extra time on the couch. Mark Rothko said, "Don't choose the color, feel the color." But Marlowe often just grabbed any color. To him, every color had possibility when juxtaposed with another color. And the unlikely combination could be jarring and exciting. Marlowe himself often couldn't judge. Was it bad? Was it good? And can bad be good? And something in Marlowe said, yes, or maybe. Emotion first, understanding afterwards. So, back to the question. How cracked is too cracked? How crazy is too crazy? And do crackpots know they are crackpots? Maybe it's not so bad just being famous in your own head. You get all the perks and no one recognizes you on an airplane. And if someone does not give you the proper respect, you can say, "Hey, you'll know me in the future." Marlowe's unwholesomely idealistic, overly romantic thoughts about the life of the artist were jarred back into sober perspective when a famous sculptor told him he was destroying his large cement pieces, pulping them to powder. Seems his price was high a few years back, but he hadn't sold anything lately and had nothing on the horizon, and if he died, the tax value of his work would be based upon the old price, and his family would lose everything. All that amazing work gone, but his kids would get to keep the farm. Sensible and real, but that had to rankle. Marlowe thought about an artist who painted ducks into a corner, and those ducks sold and paid for the artist to build a big house, and Marlowe remembered going to a show at that house with other artists whose work was much stronger than the man who painted the ducks, but those artists were barely scraping by. There was a lesson in this, and as long as that duck stayed in the corner, the duck would do fine. But the whole point of art to Marlowe and his ilk was to always find a way out of any creative corner. But there is a price. With the new comes alienation. And to be fair, looking back, those ducks were an early example of Smittenism, the iconic brand, the ironic humor. They would have made great bath mats. Marlowe had recently talked to one of the artists that had exhibited that day. This artist was still struggling, and among Marlowe's peers, he was a standout and had early success, but now it was too late to die young. Marlowe told him, "You'll be fine when you're gone," and his friend agreed. But then Marlowe got a call from another friend who was one of the artist's biggest collectors, had some of the artist's finest pieces, and the fire that had missed Marlowe's house had destroyed his friend's house, and some of the artist's best work was gone. To put it mildly, art is a shaky enterprise. Said Cezanne, "The thing is to paint as if no other painter ever existed." The only affirmation Gauguin ever received that meant anything to him was a nod from Cezanne in Paris. In a letter to his wife, Gauguin wrote, "I am a great artist, and I know it. It is because I am such that I have endured such suffering. To do what I have done in any other circumstances would make me out a ruffian, which I am, no doubt, for many people. Anyhow, what does it matter?" Was a Van Gogh beautiful before critics and then the public deemed it beautiful? What did it look like to viewers before it was beautiful? Did a Van Gogh become beautiful because the price went up? Or did the price go up because Van Goghs began to be viewed as beautiful? Gauguin died alone in squalor in Atuona, French Polynesia, in 1903. Does that seem desirable? Hell, Marlowe had a swimming pool. Van Gogh didn't. Gauguin didn't. That has to count for something, no? And Marlowe liked to think he would have always recognized a Van Gogh or a Gauguin as jaw-droppingly extraordinary. But would he have recognized a Rothko or a Jackson Pollock before they became familiar? And what did Gauguin see out there in the tropical sun? Were the colors as beautiful as what appeared on his canvas? Marlowe thought about the young blue period Picasso. He imagined waves crashing against the ruin of a long-ago temple wall. Inside, a candle goes out with a splash. The darkness looms forth. Another candle is lit. Before the candle is a painting. Picasso's 1901 portrait of Carlos Casagemas on his deathbed. A love triangle gone tragically wrong. A senseless suicide in a restaurant full of friends. Kids on the ragged edge. In the painting, the corpse at the vigil. Candles, fingers snuffing candles. And so much darkness for one so young. Picasso making a statement that if you make art as a life or death proposition, you give no quarter. You go the distance, ever deeper into inner hieroglyphics. We build a personal mythology, and if that mythology crumbles, trouble. It's always a battle of counterforces. Who am I talking to? What does it all add up to? We yearn for a myth. We desire a portal to some half-recognized place we can't quite describe, an older, deeper place. We see a tableau unwinding as a spiral. We see pictures spilling forward and back. Water on the ground, a mirror surface, a moon behind, a star. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Oh yeah, you're the top, sang the bluebird to the poet. Every spring, so much beauty. In our days of spring, sang the bluebird, all I know, all I'll ever know, the bluish tinge of lilac.